I really don't know how to review this as a comic book fan without talking about what was good and bad, what should have been changed, so spoiler alert, I'm going to say a lot of very specific stuff about 2024's Madam Web. First, the bad, absolute cringe that our villain at the very beginning talks about being poor and says, I don't have the same choices. I'm oppressed, so I have to murder a pregnant woman. Pure Marxist copium. Why would you do an origin story involving all four women and not have the inevitable fate story arc include all of them getting their powers as part of this adventure? Or since there's two I never even heard of that must be from much later comics, lower the number of characters and introduce the older canon characters, just Madam Web and Spider-Woman, and leave open the possibility of the later comic characters coming in the sequels. Setting it in 2003 and making it the origin story for Madam Web makes sense for a young Peter Parker in our time to meet her when she's older, but doing this with the other Spider characters means they'll also be much older than Peter Parker. And now the good, the thing that surprised me is that it does a really good job of being an origin story. She learns the secret of her mother's life and death, of how she got exposed to the venom and why. Her powers begin to develop, and it ends on a note where she's clearly going to age into being the sort of Madam Web we knew from the comics. All the girls do a good job of being confused and scared, but also starting to pick up survival skills and guts along the way, clearly pointing to their future development into heroes. There's a nice thread of relentless fate, as old as ancient Greek tragedies. The villain trying to overcome his destiny causes it. In this case, he was actually tricked by fate into its fulfillment, raising questions about the God behind the curtain, a mysterious will which could be relevant in the story's future. In brief, it was a much better movie than I expected going in, despite some difficulties. I would in fact say it was a good movie, except all those problems they left wide open when compared to the comic canon.